Look at these two photos. Same woman, taken just 5 years apart. The first shows a shy teenager with brown curly hair working at an airplane factory during World War II. The second, Marilyn Monroe's first studio headshot. Most people know Marilyn the movie star, but the real story of how Norma Jean became Marilyn Monroe has never been fully told. Until now. Norma Jean Mortensen was born on June 1, 1926, in Los Angeles County Hospital. Her mother Gladys worked as a film cutter at RKO Studios, a job that barely paid the bills. Money was so tight that just 2 weeks after giving birth, Gladys placed her baby daughter in the care of foster parents. Growing up, Norma Jean bounced between foster homes and orphanages. She spent her childhood living with different families, never staying in one place long enough to feel at home. Her mother Gladys struggled with mental health issues and couldn't care for her. By age 9, Norma Jean had lived in 10 different homes. See that little girl in the photo? She's wearing a dress made from flour sacks, the only clothes her foster family could afford. Nobody looking at that photo would guess she'd become the most famous actress in the world. Life changed when she turned 16. Marriage seemed like the only way out of the orphanage system. She married her neighbor, James Dougherty, a factory worker 5 years older than her. Everyone said they made a perfect couple. Norma Jean became a housewife, cooking meals and dreaming of something more, while her husband worked at the local factory. Then World War II reshuffled the cards. James joined the Merchant Marine in 1944, leaving his young wife to support herself. She got a job at Radioplane Munitions Factory, inspecting parachutes and spraying airplane parts with fire retardant. The factory job paid $20 a week, decent money for a teenage girl in 1944. Little did she know, walking through those factory doors would change her life forever. A photographer named David Conover was about to spot her, starting a chain of events that would transform Norma Jean into Marilyn Monroe. Then something happened that nobody saw coming. In 1944, the US Army sent photographer David Conover to Radioplane. They wanted photos of women helping the war effort, raising morale on the home front. Conover walked around the factory, taking shots of workers doing their jobs. He stopped dead in his tracks when he saw Norma Jean. She stood out from every other worker on that factory floor. It wasn't just her looks, there was something special about the way she moved, the way she smiled. Conover asked to take her picture. She agreed, nervous but excited. Those first photos showed something rare, natural charm that couldn't be taught. When Conover handed Norma Jean his business card, she tucked it in her pocket. 5 days passed before she got the courage to call him. The modeling job started small. Conover introduced her to other photographers. Soon she was earning $5 an hour posing for advertisements, way more than her factory wages. Her brown curls and girl-next-door smile appeared in small magazines. She learned fast, showing up on time, taking direction well, always professional. Blue Book Modeling Agency signed her in 1945. They saw potential but wanted changes. Straighten your hair, they said. Try some lighter shades. Each small change brought more work. Magazine covers followed. Her confidence grew with every shoot. Want to know something interesting? In those early modeling days, she kept a notebook. After every photo shoot, she'd write down what worked and what didn't. Which angles photographers liked. How to pose in different lights. James Dougherty came home from the war in 1946 to find his wife changed. She wasn't just a housewife anymore, she was building a career. Her modeling schedule got busier, the marriage got shakier. Norma Jean had to make a choice, stay married or chase her dreams. She chose her dreams. The divorce papers were signed by the end of the year. She was 20 years old, single, and ready for something bigger than modeling. Hollywood was calling, but first she needed a new name. Norma Jean had to become someone else entirely. Ben Lyon, a talent scout at 20th Century Fox, sat across from Norma Jean in 1946. "We need to change your name," he said, "something memorable." They played around with options. Jean Adair, number Claire Norman? Not quite right. Then Lyon remembered an actress from the 1920s, Marilyn Miller. Marilyn, Norma Jean repeated. She liked how it sounded. The Monroe part came from her mother's maiden name. Simple, catchy, unforgettable. Marilyn Monroe was born. On paper, at least, the real work was just beginning. Ready for the wildest part. Fox gave her a standard contract, but dropped her after just 6 months. Most people would have given up right there. Fox taught her the basics before letting her go. How to speak on camera, how to move, how to stand under bright lights. She took those lessons and kept pushing forward. Spent every dollar she had on acting classes. Practiced her new voice for hours, that soft, breathy tone everyone knows today. The physical transformation happened step by step. Electrolysis to raise her hairline, peroxide to lighten her hair. A small dental adjustment to perfect her smile. Each change brought her closer to becoming Marilyn Monroe. People ask why she dyed her hair blonde. Here's the truth. In black and white photos, blonde hair caught the light better. It was all about the camera. She showed up at casting calls, took bit parts in small movies, kept studying acting, kept practicing. Hollywood was full of pretty blonde actresses. She had to be more than that. She developed that walk, that laugh, that star quality everyone remembers. When Fox finally called again in 1950, they didn't see Norma Jean Dougherty from the airplane factory. They saw Marilyn Monroe, ready for the spotlight, ready to become a legend. Remember those 2 photos I showed you at the start? Now you know the real story behind them. A girl who grew up in foster homes became the most famous movie star in history. Not by accident, not by luck. By working harder than anyone knew. Her first real break came in 1950. 2 movies changed everything. The Asphalt Jungle and All About Eve. Small parts, but people noticed. The camera loved her. The audiences loved her even more. Want to know what Marilyn said about Norma Jean years later? I've never forgotten her. She's still a part of me. The press called it an overnight success story. They got it wrong. It took 4 years of modeling jobs, acting classes, rejected auditions, and pure determination to transform Norma Jean into Marilyn Monroe. Every change, every lesson, every small step forward built the icon we remember today. Next time you see a famous Marilyn Monroe photo, look closely. You might catch a glimpse of that factory worker from 1944, the girl who decided to chase a dream bigger than anyone thought possible. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe for more untold stories from Hollywood's golden age. In our next video, we'll focus on everything about Charlie Chaplin, including why he left America at the height of his fame. Trust me, it's not the story you think you know. Drop a comment below. What surprised you most about Marilyn's early years? I read every comment and love hearing your thoughts. Thank you for watching.